Here we are, eating this meal of kings before our trip begins.
We're those guys.
Yeah, we're those guys. we're smart beat tourists or whatever. It'll be great. Good morning, YouTube. Flankcaller here, and as the title says, I went to Bronycon. Yes, the top-tier horse convention of Baltimore, Maryland. A couple of months ago, my friend proposed this idea, and I was like, sure, why not? And when the time rolled around, we ended up heading down to Baltimore via bus because we thought we would be smart and save some extra dough to buy stuff. And let me tell you, buses are the devil. But that's not the point. The point of this video is I'm going to recount my wonderful Baltimore Bronycon adventure. First of all, let me tell you, it was such a blast. I had so much fun. It was honestly one of the greater experiences of ever. We ended up getting there on July 7th, Thursday. We went and got our badges because we pre-registered like good kids. And we met up with his internet forum, Bronycon friends, Skype, whatever. I didn't know any of them, and they were pretty over. Whew, they were very intense. Well, we're in a giant herd now.
You're so tall.
Oh my gosh, fun times. But hey, I'm all for enthusiasm. Then we ended up going out into the wilderness that is the Baltimore cityscape and went to some food places. One was like packed to who knows, it was way too packed. We ended up wandering into some random restaurant that turned out to be like a fancy restaurant-ish, and we showed up in like jeans and horse shirts and lanyards, and yeah, so yeah. I ended up getting chicken Alfredo though. It was pretty alright. We went back to our hotel room. The lobby was full of really cool people. All of them were excited. It was awesome. We rested our little heads, planned ahead. And it was pretty cool because our view got a really cool thing of like the city, and it was above the convention hall. Look at those freaking horse people on the ground, and oh my goodness. This is insane. Then we woke up on July 8th, the official start of the con. It was still early in the day, so the center wasn't open, so we decided to veer off deep into the jungle and had some Dunkin' Donuts where they wouldn't accept a $10 bill for some reason, but whatever. We headed back, recouped in the room for a second, and made our first steps into the main convention center of the con. And it was kind of barren, hilariously. There were a lot of really cool people, and it was awesome. Then we headed up the top escalator to where the main line was, and that's where the people were. There was a huge line, and it was fantastic. There was so many cosplayers, everyone was cheering. It feels like that the new meme wasn't the fun anymore, it was the sweep, 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 which I had completely forgotten about, so it was pretty hilarious. There ended up being a lot of bro-hoof lines, which I thought was really humorous. And honestly, just seeing the enthusiasm was just amazing. Once the line started moving, it honestly wasn't that bad. We ended up going into the opening ceremonies, and it was really cool. All the peoples were up there being like, yeah, look at us. Michelle Creeber and Black Griffin, they were there. They're pretty cool, I think. After that, we ended up making our way to the vendor hall, which had been open for a second. And good gosh, the vendor hall was fantastic, and also harmful for my wallet. I loved all the art there. I was excited. We were there for probably like 2 hours. Man, it was crazy. And as if by magic, suddenly posters just started filling my bag and prints, and I got buttons, and oh no. Oh, it was glorious. Plus, we still got to see a lot of cool cosplayers. It was fantastic. I'm going to be saying a lot of fantastics and brilliants and awesomes and greats. I'm not really quite sure the time frame of all the things that I did, but I'm just going to start listing stuff off. I ended up going to the Semi-Perfect / POS podcast panel, where I got to see some of my favorite YouTubers like SaberSpark, Paleo, Jim, AC Racebest in person. Later, I got to see Little Shy, Viva, and Brony Dance Party. It was honestly quite strange seeing these people that I had seen on YouTube in person and actually performing and stuff. And I got to go to the Hooves Line panel, which was honestly one of the best that they've done, and I was super glad I got to see it in person. Also, it turned out a lot of those analysis folks were there, which I'm not as big into anymore at all, really, but it was pretty neat just passing them by randomly. I remember seeing Toon Critic, Dr. Wolf, I Love Kim Possible, and Silverquill. Also, I actually got to shake Corpulent Brony's hands randomly as I just passed him, seeing this really cool setup that someone had made. Both nights I managed to go to Brony Palooza for a little bit. I only spent a little bit on the first night, which was still pretty cool. And on the second night, though, they ended up having Black Griffin and Michelle Creeber performing. Got to see most of that and a little cool backflip. And we stayed there for a few hours, actually, and it was really fun. We actually had fun. I never really enjoyed concerts of that kind of music, but being around those people and the excitement, it was just fantastic. A lot of memorable moments was when a dance circle opened up, and a lot of actually good dancers were there, and some not so good dancers. But at one point, someone just decided to put down a little blackjack plushie, and then others followed suit, and there was just a giant plushie mosh pit thing that everyone was cheering for. Another thing I remember was a spotlight had stopped somewhere, and some dude just set his pony there, and I have a really good picture of that. Also, one time, some guy just came up to me, covered in glow sticks. He just tapped me on the shoulder, and I'm like, huh? And he just, like, held out this glow stick. I just put my arm forward, like, heck yes, and then I got a glow stick. It was honestly just so pure. And another time, a group of fursuiters just kind of met up, who probably didn't even know each other, and just started dancing all together. It was, and two really skilled, hula hoopists, if you will, started dancing, and it was really cool. One was a vinyl cosplayer. Really, it was just super freaking fun. I don't know, it's hard to describe a whole experience. I bought way too many prints, got a ton of stuff. There was a QR scavenger hunt where you had to go around scanning, and at first it started as a joke, but I got way too into it. One of the codes was on like the slides in between panels, and it shone for like 5 seconds, and it was almost impossible to get, but I eventually got it, and I got extremely excited. So, we finished the QR scavenger hunt, and I was the most accomplished, and I can't believe the prize I got. The keychain. That's all you ever need in life. There was a Subway across the street from it all, and that's basically where me and my friend ate almost every meal. Also, the foodstuffs inside the con were pretty good. I want to go ahead and say the cosplayers were fantastic once again, because goodness, they were awesome. The energy that you just get there is just so fun. Everyone's so happy to be there. Everyone's there for a similar reason. Regardless of your enjoyment of the show, it seems like it's just a really fun place to be. I'm glad I went, and I kind of want to go another time if I can get the money. So yeah, that was the experiences of my second con that I've ever been to, and it was Bronycon. I'm Flank Hollow, and I hope you have a nice day. Magic makes it all together.